Hi, Ryan here from A&B. Today we're going to take a look at the all-new Amflow PL full-powered lightweight e-bike. Amflow was founded in 2023 and is the very first EMTB to feature DJI's new Avinox M1 motor. The Amflow PL is a full-powered e-bike, yet it's lightweight enough to be classified as like an SL e-bike. It is much lighter than a conventional full-powered e-bike. The Amflow PL and the Amflow PL Pro, which we have here today, both sport a full carbon frame. Both the chainstay, the seat stay, and the main frame are all carbon fiber, and they're very neatly made. Riders can choose between the PL and the PL Pro, but also a 600 watt-hour battery and an 800 watt-hour battery, which we have here with us today. The Avinox M1 motor is an extremely powerful motor. The motor itself only weighs 2.52 kilos, has 850 watts of power, 250 nominal watts of power, and also 105 Newton meters of torque. The frame itself weighs 2.27 kilos, which is an extremely light trail carbon frame, and then has a motor and battery put into it, which is extremely impressive. We're here in the Fix Workshop taking a more in-depth look at the Amflow PL Pro. Taking a look now at what makes the Amflow PL so special is the Avinox motor, which is powered by DJI. This compact motor is incredibly silent, incredibly small, and weighs in at only 2.5 kilos. It packs out a whopping 850 watts in the turbo mode, and when pushed into boost mode, you can access 30 seconds of over 1,000 watts of power and topping out at 120 Newton meters of torque. Another thing that makes the Avinox system so special is the 2-inch touch screen display. It can be used with most gloves, and we have found has a wealth of knowledge at your fingertips. It can show you all your ride data, what's going on with the bike, how much power you're putting out, how much power the bike's putting out, what mode you're in, where you're going, all sorts of stuff. It's all in there. If you can't see it on your 2-inch display, you can just connect via the Avinox app as well and see even more data. You can toggle through them with the wireless controllers. You can even connect to and turn off and on your Osmo 5 action camera. So these wireless controllers control quite a lot. There's even more information here, and there's even more information on your smartphone as well, which can be charged through the USB-C port. A neat feature of the Avinox system is the ability for riders to set up a 4-digit security pin within the system itself. If you turn the bike on, you don't know the pin, you move it, an alarm will go off. It'll push a notification to the owner's phone. You can also see the location of the bike and track it. It's a really neat feature, and it would be great to see this sort of thing in more e-bikes without the need for having to, say, install an AirTag in the bike and fret about those sorts of things. It's all built into the system, it can be tracked from the app. The alarm is pretty damn loud as well. We had it go off in the shop earlier when we tried to move it. It's a really neat feature. The DJI Avinox motor has 5 different modes that riders can select from. There's the auto mode, eco, trail, turbo, and lastly, there is a boost mode, which requires pushing and holding a button for a second and accessing that full over 1,000 watts of power for 30 seconds. It can be pressed repeatedly and continuously over and over, but it does drain the battery much quicker. Drawing that full 1,000 watts and 120 Newton meters of torque on a steep pinch is unbelievable, but it really does chew through the battery much quicker. We found we got the best range and probably the best ride quality out of the auto mode. It's very intelligent, and we found that it is extremely smooth and almost instantaneous for the power to pick up and ease off and really read what you're doing on the trail. It also reads gradient as well, so if you're just chugging along the flat and pedaling quite gently, the assistance is barely there and you're rolling along really nicely. And then instantaneously, if you give it a little punch to get up over an obstacle, the full power was right there ready to go as well, which we really, really like. One of the reasons the auto mode is so instantaneous is on the rear wheel there, instead of being just a magnet or one speed sensor, there is a little steel disc which has 42 pickup points. So the sensor is actually calculating as the wheel goes around, much like an ABS system, far more rapidly than a magnet going past a pickup once every revolution. So the very, very clever system is picking up what you're doing much, much faster and is adapting to that whilst you're on the trail. And it is very noticeable, especially on technical climb. The Amflow PL is available with both a 600 watt hour battery and an 800 watt hour battery, which we've got pictured here today. The 800 watt hour battery does fit in all sizes of the frame as well and is bolted into the down tube, which does require the motor being removed. DJI also claim that the battery will fast charge in a bit over an hour and a half. That's about 3 times as fast as other e-bikes that we have here in the shop, and it is absolutely impressive when you're out on the trail as well. Get back from a ride, let it cool slightly, plug it straight in, hour and a half, nearly fully charged. It's very, very impressive. The Amflow PL's geometry is very familiar and still very flickable, even with 29-inch front and rear, paired with 150 mils on the rear and 160 up front. The Amflow PL can be set up as a mullet. There is a very neat little flip chip just behind where the yoke meets the linkage. It raises the bottom bracket by around 10 mil. And really will lift the back end of the bike up and correct the geo for riders who do want to run a mullet setup or a 27.5 on the back. Taking a look at the spec on the Pro model, we've got a Fox factory Float X on the back. We've got a Fox factory 36 with a Grip X2 damper on the front. It's a really nice step up from the lower model PL, which has a grip damper. It really transforms the bike. We've been lucky enough to ride both the PL and the PL Pro, and the difference in performance that the factory suspension and also Amflow's own carbon wheels does to the ride quality of this bike is noticeable. Another unique feature for the Amflow PL is it is equipped with SRAM's new transmission drivetrain. Comes with EXO, and it is also hardwired into the motor, so no need to charge an additional battery. DJI have created a wire from the unit to the derailleur, and it means that you've just got one thing to charge. You don't have to worry about anything else. So it's a really nice system as well. Works together seamlessly, and it also shifts under load, which is very, very important for such a powerful e-bike. Amflow have spec'd their own in-house carbon wheels on the Pro model. They're a 30mm internal carbon fiber rim on what looks to be a Formula hub, seal bearing of course. The tires are Maxxis Exo Plus Max Terra assegai and dissector out the rear. It shows that the bike is really intended as a trail bike. However, the motor is quite powerful, so sometimes you're charging a little bit harder than some of the components may be able to keep up with. If this was ours, we'd probably put slightly thicker casing tires and maybe a max grip up on the front. It is great to see that Amflow has spec'd a brake that is suitable for pulling up such a powerful bike. The Magura MT7 is spec'd both front and rear with a 203mm rotor and has no problems pulling up the bike. There are some other nice in-house components. Amflow has their own carbon fiber handlebar with like a 25mm rise and a nice 30mm really beautifully machined stem on there as well, made from aluminium. It also comes with alloy 155mm cranks made again by Amflow. The choice to go to 155mm crank suits an e-bike perfectly. It does mean that you can continue to pedal and maintain forward momentum without clipping your pedals and cranks on obstacles as you're going over them, which is, crucial to make sure you get up the hill. One thing we did find about the 155mm Amflow alloy cranks was the first iteration that we had no sort of reinforcement on the backside of the crank arm. And we did find after a big impact, they sort of twisted slightly. We reached out and lodged a customer service request through the Amflow website, and within a couple of days we had a replacement set air freighted out to us, which was, you know, super quick and a nice easy experience. And the back side of that crank arm has more reinforced bracing on the back side of the arm, and they have proven to be a lot more rigid than the first set. So how does their DJI Avinox equipped Amflow PL perform out on the trails? It's a really balanced bike. It feels very, very familiar to me. I've owned a bike with a very similar layout as this, with the same sort of geometry. And then it has the addition of the most incredible, powerful motor that I have ever ridden in my life. I'm really enjoying riding this bike. It's extremely maneuverable. So one of my biggest gripes about the Amflow PL is probably that it's such a nice, well-balanced trail bike, but has such a powerful motor on it that you're approaching sections or features with more speed than you have done on a normal bike, but also more speed than, say, the bike could even handle. If the Amflow PL had a motor with half the power, it would still be really nice. It pedals quite efficiently, it doesn't have too much pedal kickback, it's very well mannered. But because it has so much power, you're coming into things almost too fast, which I know sounds ridiculous, but that would probably be my biggest gripe. The conditions that we're riding today and over the last few days have been very dry and dusty, and it suits the Amflow PL very, very well. When we have ridden it in really tacky conditions on trails that have a lot of support, lots of jumps, you can feel that the bike is quite light and isn't as stiff as some of its bigger, burlier, I guess, competitors. It can feel a little vague or noodly under hard brakes or very hard direction changes when you have really good grip or high levels of grip. In the conditions that we've been riding over the last few days, where it's a lot skatier, it feels more composed and a lot easier to manage because the bike isn't sort of contorting underneath you. I think this motor is going to make a lot of other motors almost obsolete. I think we'll see this motor in a lot more bikes soon, and I'm very excited to see what Amflow come up with. Considering that this is their very first attempt, I think they've done a very, very good job. Another thing I really like about the Amflow PL is it has 5 support modes. At first, I just jammed it in trail mode and turbo mode, and it was too much in the dry, dusty conditions that we've been riding in. I've actually had to tone down the trail mode substantially, as far down as I possibly could. The eco mode was, you know, just a little pushing hand behind you, so we've increased eco mode, decreased the trail mode, and left turbo and, I guess, boost and auto unchanged. On technical slippery climbs, trail is just ridiculous. Like, it's got so much power. Being a slightly smaller size as well, like, I really need to get my weight forward to keep weight on the front wheel so you can change directions on a technical climb. And there was very few parts that I could actually use turbo or boost. It was really only a steep fire road pinch where that was possible. So we recommend, you know, if you're test riding one of these and or purchasing one of these, definitely have a play with those settings. You know, the trail mode is more powerful than turbo on any other e-bike I've ever tested. So, you know, winding that back a little bit, it will increase your range substantially and will make it more manageable if the terrain that you ride most frequently is quite slippery and hard to find traction. We've certainly enjoyed our time on the Amflow PL Pro. It has been an absolute trail weapon, and this motor has certainly changed our view on e-bikes. We look forward to see more offerings from Amflow and also the DJI motor in other manufacturers' bikes. Thanks for watching. Ryan here from A&B. Make sure you jump over and hit the like and subscribe button.